Welcome into the Ravens Rundown. My name is Joey Petersen. We got a double dose of great news to talk about on today's show. First up, Kyle Hamilton. Man, he got paid. The dude got a bag, and he deserves it. We'll break down his contract extension and what that means for his future in Baltimore. And then on the second half of the show, okay, we got a massive update on Rasheed Rice's suspension, and I can't believe it, but actually, oh wait, you guys got to tune in to see. Breaking news. Kyle Hamilton signed a contract extension this morning. I don't think this was on a ton of people's radars to happen anytime relatively soon. We all knew that this was going to happen at some point over the next couple of months. But like Eric DeCosta said at his press conference today, he likes to work in the dark. And in the dark, he worked with this one because, breaking news from George Schultz, 40-year extension worth over $100 million, sources tell me. This is the right move. I am in the camp of keeping Kyle Hamilton on this team as long as possible. A lot of people like to say that Roquan Smith is the quarterback of this defense. And I think in a lot of ways that's true. I like to say that Kyle Hamilton, he's the head coach, okay? Because through him, everything is running. He can do so many different things. He's versatile. You can put him anywhere. He's a short tackler. He's smart. He's everything you could want in a first-round pick. We got a first-round pick right here at the Ravens Rundown, okay? Because this is the best place to be if you love the Baltimore Ravens. Daily videos, all 100% free. And guess what? We're close to 34,000 subscribers. Only 96 subs away. Can we get there today? I need to see how loyal Ravens fans are. I need to see how crazy Ravens fans are. If you are a die-hard Baltimore Ravens fanatic, you'll hit that sub button and join us today. And also, help me get to 34,000 subscribers right here on the channel. I'm going to be real with you, okay? Like I've already said, Kyle Hamilton deserves every penny of what has now come his way. And we knew that this was going to be the case with the fifth-year option decision, right? When they declined his fifth-year option, we knew that at some point he was going to get signed, and we knew who probably was going to be the highest-paid safety in football, which he now is, and it shouldn't surprise anybody, given what he was able to do last year, and given, frankly, what he's been able to do for the entirety of his career in Baltimore. 107 tackles in 2024, 9 pass deflections, a 90 overall PFF grade. His run defense was a 98.4. His coverage grade was an 87.9. And there was a stark difference when Kyle Hamilton was off the field versus when he was on the field, okay? He wasn't off it much, right? He's very durable, but there was a couple of games he dealt with an injury here or there. And the defense looked vastly different, okay, with him off it rather than on it. This thing runs through him. And that's the reason that he got a $100 million contract. 4 years, $82 million guaranteed. Like I said, now that takes him to be the highest paid safety in football. And usually when you make somebody the highest paid in their respective positions, you usually go about $1 million above the next guy. Baltimore decided to go $4 million above the next guy. Because I think in the negotiation process of this, Eric DeCosta was saying, honestly, whatever you and your agent want, we're willing to spend because that's how important you are to this roster. That's how important you are to the success of this organization. They lock him in for $25 million a year. Tops Kerby Joseph, $3.85 million more a year than the second highest paid guy. And like I said just a couple minutes ago, he deserves every penny. Chime in for me in the comment section. What's your one-word reaction to Hamilton's extension? Let me know down below. Weigh in for me and give me that one-word reaction. Up next, we got great news with a Rasheed Rice suspension. I'll tell you how that's going to impact Baltimore, how that's going to impact this season for what's happening to the Chiefs wide receiver. But before that, if you want something to impact your life in a positive way, then you'll download the PrizePicks app and, use code CLNS. Get $50 just when you play 5. This episode is brought to you by PrizePicks. Preseason football is over and college football is underway, so don't miss any of the action this season on PrizePicks. PrizePicks is the best way to win real money this football season. Which players are going off? Which ones aren't? Make your picks in less than 60 seconds and turn your sports opinions into real money all season long on PrizePicks. PrizePicks is simple to play. Just pick more or less on 2 to 6 player stat projections. If you get your picks right, you could cash in and win up to 2,000 times your money. PrizePicks is the best place to win cash while watching sports. Join millions of users and sign up today. We got an awesome slate of college football this weekend. Of course, it's all starting off Texas versus Ohio State. If you're locked into that one, how about you join me in this PrizePicks and get the more on 1.5 pass touchdowns on Arch Manning, the more on 77.5 receiving yards for Jeremiah Smith, and then a big game that night as well, Clemson LSU, Tigers versus Tigers. I think Clemson's front four is going to be something pretty special this year. So give me the less on Garrett Nussmeier, 278.5 passing yards. Download the PrizePicks app today. Use code CLNS to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. That's code CLNS to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. The link to this promo is in the comments and description of today's video. PrizePicks, run your game. Don Pelissero reports today that Chiefs wide receiver Rasheed Rice is accepting and will serve a 6-game suspension to start the 2025 regular season per sources. Well, Joey, why are we talking about Chiefs news on this show? This isn't the Chiefs report. You're not Tyler Jones or whoever. Well, it's because we know that the gauntlet the Ravens have to face in the first 4 weeks of the season is something serious. You start on the road against the Bills. You play the Browns. You play the Lions, both those at home. And then, week 4, you go on the road against the Chiefs. You play 3 teams that won 13 or more games last season in the first 4 weeks of your season. 2 of those teams, you play them on the road. And, of course, he accepted that 6-game suspension. So that means week 4, he's not going to be playing. And that matters a ton because if you look back to last season, what he did against your Baltimore Ravens, now I will admit the secondary is a lot better this year from last year. But still, absolutely carved this team up. 9 targets, 7 receptions, 103 yards, 14.7 yards per catch. Rasheed Rice is one of those guys that if he, went a whole season without getting injured, or without getting suspended, I firmly believe he would be in talks of being a top 10 wide receiver in this league. This dude's incredibly talented. He just can't seem to get out of his own way. And now that's benefiting Baltimore because outside of him, they have some talent in terms of their skill positions. But let's be real, not a ton. Xavier Worthy turns into their best wide receiver. Then Travis Kelce. Sure, he just got engaged to Taylor Swift yesterday, but I don't think that's going to set him back a couple years in his career, make him healthier, make him younger, make him faster. Hollywood Brown, Juju Smith-Schuster. 2 guys who, if they were on your wide receiver team 5 years ago, that would be something special. Doesn't mean quite as much in the year of 2025. So without Rice, Patrick Mahomes has very, very limited resources to go to. Now, I'm not saying it's going to be a cakewalk. I'm not saying it's going to be a guaranteed win. But Rasheed Rice not playing in that game in week 4 is massive news for Baltimore. Will the Ravens finally beat the Chiefs in week 4? Let me know in the comment section down below. Give me a yes or give me a no, and let me know your answer. I think this gives them a great shot. I really do. Obviously, you still have to worry about the Chiefs' defense. They got Steve Spagnuolo. They got Chris Jones. They've got a lot of really talented players. Partly the reason that they did so great last year. It's a big reason they ended up making it to the Super Bowl. Obviously, wasn't good enough to win it, but they still got there. This is a break that I feel like Baltimore really needed, though. Because you look at those first 4 games, like we talked about earlier, you think about those first 4 games, that's not an easy stretch whatsoever. Now, I've heard a lot of people complain about it. I'm not going to be one of those people. The more good teams they play, the more good games we get to watch. The more this team gets to get tested in the regular season. We don't want what happened to Dallas back in the 2023 season happen this year. Remember when the Cowboys went like 12-5, locked up a first-round bye, maybe even 13-4 that year, but they played nobody, and then round 1 of the playoffs, they play against the Green Bay Packers and get their doors blown off. So playing good competition in the regular season, I'm a firm believer that just helps you be better in the postseason. But it's going to help if that good competition you're playing is without their best skill player. Make sure you got me on social media. If you had me on Twitter, you would have seen this news on X before we had it here at the video because you know what? A tweet takes about 3 seconds to fire off, and to get the graphics going, everything else, it takes a little bit longer. So make sure you got me on X and on Instagram at Joey Petersen. More than anything, though, make sure you're subscribed to the channel with your notifications on. Okay, so that way, whenever we would drop a video, you can be right there to be kept up with the latest on the Baltimore Ravens.